So I've just broken this lecture into two parts here to, one, give you a break and try to think about all the different points in making a thesis statement, and two, to give me and you a chance to work on practicing making simple and complex thesis statements. So where we left off was the third example. With a sort of weak thesis statement that we want to make strong by fixing it. So here we have the topic and sort of controlling idea about gun control, which is, well, gun control is essential. Well, you may think about why that is. So a simple way to fix this sentence, you might say gun control is essential because, and then you'd have your sort of 1, 2, and 3 reasons. And remember, when you list your reasons or ways, you want to try and keep parallel structure. So that's in week 4, day 1. So try to practice that when you write your thesis statements. And here's your answer why you think gun control is essential. Another way is to think even deeper about this issue. You may, for example, think about, let's say, United States, where yes, they do say they have gun control, but there are still more shootings than basically everywhere else. You may think of high school shootings or that Vegas shooting. So maybe there's something wrong with their gun control. So maybe you can think about, yes, we agree that gun control is essential, but you may think about how, and in this case, specifically, how to have or make better gun control. Control only has one L. Now write it here. Gun control, question mark. Well, you might answer it like this. The USA can improve their gun control to prevent maybe mass shootings by something. 1, 2, 3. So 3 different ways they can do that. You may see the news and they may talk about things like, let's actually not let people carry guns. The United States allowed people to carry guns with a right to bear arms. Canada and other countries do not have that, and their shootings happen fewer. There are fewer shootings in those other countries. So you may list ways that you can improve gun control and show evidence that it works. So this is sort of a deeper, a stronger thesis statement, an even stronger one, because you already agree that gun control is essential, but you're talking about a specific country and specifically to improve what they already have in their gun control. And with the issue of mass shootings that's happening in spite of having gun control. Something like that. If you're just starting, you may simply fix this one by adding reasons a little stronger. By simply asking why and answering with reasons. And that already makes your thesis statement stronger. Okay, so where do you put your thesis statement? Well, it's pretty simple. You probably know this by now, just in case you don't. The thesis statement is at the end of the introduction paragraph in North American literature So if you go to American universities, Canadian universities, for sure, and you read academic articles and essays, we expect the thesis statement to be at the end, the last sentence. Well, you introduce the topic, remember? So in your introduction, in case you don't remember, I'll tell you this briefly. There are 4 parts in the introduction. So you have your big topic sentence, and then you may have some general facts, maybe about the issue. Maybe you talk about the debate that's going on. Well, let's use the gun control, for example. Well, you may say, oh, I may try the stronger thesis statement about mass shootings in America, and there is gun control, but it's not doing enough. So I may introduce the topic of mass shootings in America, even though there's gun control. And I may talk about the debates around this issue. Well, there are people that say, well, yeah, well, that's fine. We have the police to take care of it. Our gun control is just fine. People should be allowed to carry weapons. There are people that say, oh no, there are too many deaths. It's because people can carry weapons that these shootings happen in the first place. And remember, you have a research question. Well, you may think about it as the third sentence. Well, which is the better way? Which side of the argument, if we follow their argument, would actually reduce the number of shootings? And then you can have your thesis statement. Your answer. Well, my answer, well, let's say, oh, we can improve the gun control to prevent mass shootings by, okay, let's say I take the side of not letting people carry weapons unless they're police officers or something. Yeah, so then way fewer people would have access to weapons and bullets and something like that. And you will have to defend that if you're on that side. Of course, you can agree or disagree with that, and you can find counter arguments too, which is going to be part of your research project. Again, all that being said, where you find the thesis statement, you find it in the last sentence of the introduction. And you introduce your topic here, and then you have your controlling idea and reasons. Always. Depending on whether you're answering the question why or how after you answered the research question. Okay? All right. So let's do a little bit of practice. This is the simple or complex thesis statements that we're talking about. The simple thesis statement just gives the answer. You don't really talk about the reasons yet because you'll see the reasons in the body paragraphs. You don't give a preview or a roadmap or an outline or anything like that. You just tell them what you think. So in this case, if the topic here is about cell phones or using cell phones while driving, this writer in the thesis statement thinks, okay, yeah, there are laws to say we shouldn't use cell phones and to punish those that use cell phones while they drive. And the writer thinks that we as citizens or those who live or stay in this country should, support that. And they're going to give reasons why. But in this simple thesis, they don't say those reasons because they expect the reasons to show up in the body paragraphs. Okay? And then these are the reasons they might give. 1, they are a necessary distraction. 2, they increase, accidents and deaths while driving. Now, the simple thesis only has the answer. Answer only. Okay, answer being the controlling idea. Your thesis statement that's complex is going to have the answer plus your points, reasons, or ways. Here we have two reasons. The practice here is, see if you can write a complex thesis statement that has the answer and the points. In this case, it's going to be reasons. Again, combine your simple thesis, the answer, with the reasons to make a longer, stronger thesis statement, a complex compound sentence, or compound complex sentence. So you may start off with the same thing. We should support legislation to limit the use of cell phones while driving. You're gonna stop right there. I would recommend you pause the video if you need to and try writing the reasons and adding them into your complex thesis statement. See if you can do that now. What would you do? What's the next word that you use? Reasons have to do with why. And so you answer that with the word because. So you might say because they, here being cell phones. Or I could say cell phones if I really want to be clear. Cell phones are an unnecessary distraction and they increase the incidence of accidents and death. Okay, so this sentence is still grammatically correct. These reasons here are written in parallel structure. Cell phones are an unnecessary distraction. You have your subject, verb, and object, and then I put and, I connect. The next clause is the second reason. They, I just refer to cell phones now, increase, verb, the incidence of accidents and deaths. So a compound object there. And so all these are connected with a subordinated conjunction. This would be my dependent clause. And this part I already have as the simple thesis, which is an independent clause sentence. So you can use these grammatical rules, use the grammar rules, use the sentence structures to build your complex thesis statements. Basically, you want answer and the points, reasons, and ways. So you could paraphrase these points if you want to. Cell phones distract people, or cell phones distract drivers, and they cause more accidents and deaths. So I just made a simple paraphrase there, changed a few words. You could make your own paraphrase if you want. And this is the kind of practice you want to do with your working thesis statement. You're going to write these more than once. So practice multiple times. Let's say maybe 3 times or 5 times. But the idea is build a strong, simple or complex thesis statement. Now, here are some advantages and disadvantages of simple and complex thesis statements. And I'm showing you these points to help you compare. You might just think, okay, yeah, I want to make my thesis statement really strong, so I use a complex thesis statement. Well, let me show you the advantages and disadvantages first. For simple thesis statements, the advantage is, here's an advantage, they're easy to understand. Well, why? They're shorter, they're simpler, and they tend to be more clear if you're used to simpler sentences, they may be easier to write too for you. Here, it could be an advantage, but I'm going to say this is a disadvantage for now. In courses where a lot of instructors are used to teaching and writing complex thesis statements, I'm one of those people, but I don't mind you use either one as long as you have your reasons. But if you use a simple thesis statement and don't talk about the reasons right away, like using transition words like first, second, third in your topic sentence for your body paragraphs, then I'd start to wonder, where are your reasons? I might ask that. I have to look through your paper. Your instructor would have to look through your paper, and that's when you get fewer marks. Your paper will be less clear, and will have a harder time trying to understand what you're talking about, what you're arguing. Your argument will be weaker. So advantage, it's easier for you to write and understand, but if you don't state your reasons clearly, it's going to get lost, and it's going to be harder to find in your essay. A good fix for this disadvantage? Well, make sure to use topic sentences for your main points in your body paragraphs. So write them clearly, each main point or supporting point. So these are your body paragraphs. So if you have 3 reasons, write first, second, third. 3 or multiples of 3, like 6 if you have to. Paragraphs that with the first sentence of that reason, you'd say first, let's go with the gun control. We can prevent mass shootings by improving gun control with, let's say, restricting the number of people that can use firearms, something like that. Now, with a complex thesis statement, the advantage is it makes it clear for the reader and for you. If you take that extra step to use the reasons and add them in there, use parallel structure and sentence structure and grammar, it creates a roadmap for the reader so they know what to expect in the essay. It gives them the outline. It outlines the reasons or ways for them so they know what to expect. Now, the tip for this is if you list the reasons as 1, 2, 3 in your body paragraphs, you're going to want to match the same order. So keep the same order of points. Very important. If you start mixing them up, then you would confuse the reader. That's bad. Okay? So this is good. 1, 2, 3. In your thesis statement, that's complex with the outline. Match the outline. 1, 2, 3 in your points. Just think of it as like Google Maps and they telling you where to go, and you happen to use the list. You probably won't, but if you've read the list of instructions, let's say change the example a little bit, a recipe or a video, and then the video is all mixed up, that's not going to help you do what you want to do. It's the same thing for your essay. If you use the first 3 reasons and you use a specific order, match the order of the points. Now, a disadvantage of this is you may end up revealing too much. Some of you may want to create that suspense. Some of you may be running out of space. You have too many words. Some of you may simply prefer to write a simpler one. That being said, it is true that you are telling them the reasons already, but there is more information that you can tell them, and that's the evidence, and that's the explanation. and then you conclude with a link to your thesis. Remember the structure in your opinion essay? These things are in the body paragraphs. You do not talk about these in your thesis statement. You just list the reasons and the ways. You outline them. So if you worry about revealing too much information, you won't. If you have the evidence, if you explain the evidence and you link it back to the thesis, you won't. So there may be more advantages for you to practice the complex thesis statement, but you can always start with the simple, as long as you follow the structure, as long as you have reasons in your arguments and you explain it, you back it up with evidence, and you link it with the thesis, then you're fine. So for practice, you can try writing thesis statements, 2 of them. And here I want you to focus on writing 1 for each side. So 1 you agree with something, and the other one you disagree with something. It can be any topic, but for this practice, I've given you one. It's something recent. It's the legalization of marijuana in Canada. This happened a couple years ago, and it's legal now since July officially, and you can find marijuana in stores. Well, try writing thesis statements. Okay, you may end up writing 4. You can agree, you can have a simple one, and then also a complex one. Or you can disagree, and then you can write this in a simple way or a complex way. In the instructions here, well, you can pick too. You can go, oh, I want to do a simple one for agree and a complex one for disagree. Or I want to switch. I want to do a complex for agree and simple for disagree. The instruction does say you want to try both styles while arguing in both sides. So minimum is 2. But the maximum, or I recommend 4 of them. Try each side with each style. Try them all. Simple and complex, agree and disagree. That way, you not only practice writing for your essay, but you also practice writing for dealing with your counter arguments. Because you're trying both sides. You're thinking about what people would argue if they agree or disagree with something. And that's critical thinking. That you know how to argue on either side, and you know what other people who might disagree with you, what they would say, as well as those who agree with you and what those guys would say. Very important skill. Okay, so try it out. First, you can try it with the topic of legalization of marijuana, and if you have done that, then you can try your research topic. You can try that too. Okay, so that's it. So that's pretty much your writing thesis statement lecture, and you can share this on Canvas. Share your research question. You can share on week 4. Share your ideas, share your topic. think about a working thesis for your research question, so you can use this for your assignment-free research proposal. After you think about 3 possible questions and the answer for each one, and you're going to need this for your research paper right from the first draft. Research paper, argumentative research paper. Okay, that's it. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them up on Canvas in the week 4 discussion thread or email me directly. That's it for all the lectures. You can read the sample essay to see if you can find the thesis statement, look for all the parts in the research paper outline, see how you can develop your own research plan, and work on your research proposal. All right, good luck on your assignment, and don't forget, this Friday, and that's tomorrow, you're going to have a grammar quiz again that reviews your sentence structure and parallel structure. Okay, and your assignment, the research proposal, assignment free, is going to be due on Monday, all before midnight. Okay, again, best of luck. If you have any questions, post on Canvas or email me. See you.